Welcome to the pre-show.
Welcome to the pre-show.
So you've recently had a tweet. I don't know if it's gone viral, but you tweeted out about Travis Scott's concert.
Yes.
So why everybody knows what happened, but why don't we start from the top? He had his concert. I don't know. Is it like it's Astroworld? It's like a circus slash concert, or like a fair. It's got like a Ferris wheel and music. And just this past weekend, so we're recording this on the 9th of November, but just this past weekend there was a stampede. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
And I believe 8 lives were lost.
Yep.
And why don't you take it from there?
In terms of my tweets, you mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he came out and said he was going to supply, he's going to pay for funerals, he's going to pay for this, he's going to pay for that.
Yeah.
For all the victims. And he's going to pay for therapy for anybody who was at the concert.
Yeah.
At the festival who wanted to get therapy.
Yeah.
And I don't know who Travis Scott is. I don't care to know who Travis Scott is, but that's fine. The kids like him.
He's very popular. He's a popular rapper.
Isn't he the one that you were saying did the show inside of
Fortnite?
Inside of Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think because his name's Travis, when I told Kel on the weekend we were going for a walk, I assumed he was a country guy. So I said, yeah, at a country music festival there was, and then she goes, Gregg, he's the furthest thing from country. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so he offered therapy. And so I went to his Instagram page to learn more about him.
Yeah.
And who he is.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he was married to one of the Kardashians or Jenners or whatever, but whatever. And he had a link to the therapy site, this, I think, BetterHelp or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, BetterHelp. It's funny because I keep getting notifications. So it keeps going as in the background here with Twitter. And I looked at it and said, you need a valid credit card. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Kind of weird, but
yeah.
Okay. And then they said, because you get your first month for free. And then after you get charged. And I've seen people that were saying that was like $400 a month.
Whoa.
That your credit. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
And so I tweeted, I said, hold up. So Travis Scott's offer of counseling through BetterHelp is a 1-month free trial. You have to have a credit card. And if you're not all better by the end of the month, and I said, bloody hell, who would be better after what they just experienced in a month? In a month. Yeah. What are you going to be just like, you're fixed? Not fixed. Fixed is the wrong word.
Yeah.
That was the wrong word. So I apologize. You have to pay. And then I just went asterisk, 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 asterisk. That's gross.
Yeah.
It's just so disingenuous. Like I had somebody say, it makes you wonder if he or the family is an investor in this company. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's wrong.
Interesting.
I'm hoping that's not correct. But it's just gross. It's just like he should not be touted as this guy who's helping people because he's I was going to say a word that I won't use, but he's basically, giving 1 month away on a freemium model to a pay-as-you-play mental health site. It's gross.
Yes, it is.
And when I did a quick Google search, within a minute, I found another partner of theirs that was also giving you 1 month free. So all you have to do is know that code, and you go in and you've got 1 month free with this site. So how's that really stepping up? It's not.
Yeah, it is. It is very unfortunate what has happened, and um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the correct response is and who the the response should be coming from. Right? Is it the artist? Is it the concert promoter? Is
Well, isn't he the
who's
promoter? Isn't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
I believe it's him and Live Nation.
Yeah, so is
Like,
it is
his
it him?
production.
Is it live? Like it's it's his name, it's his brand.
Yeah.
Is Live Nation though executing that? Is it who's in charge of security or safety or whatever, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perez Hilton, only because I replied to him because somebody pulled him into this conversation and he liked a couple of my tweets, which is kind of interesting. Which probably has helped helped it from an amplification perspective. Not probably, it would have for sure helped it from an amplification perspective. But he used the word, my replies. He didn't use the word tragedy. He used the word terrible, catastrophic failure. And that's exactly what it was. I mean, it was a tragedy.
Of course.
But it was a catastrophic failure. Apparently the police chief from Houston is a buddy of Travis Scott's or a friend or something.
Yeah.
And he went back to his trailer or whatever. And he's come out and said that he said, this is just like, we're in a dangerous situation here.
This was after the fact?
Before.
Oh, before?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm
going to have to edit this out if I'm incorrect, but what I remember reading yesterday or the day before was that the police chief is a bud of his and went and said, this isn't good.
Yeah. There was, I was listening to As It Happens, I believe, last night on CBC Radio, and they had an attendee who witnessed, who thought she was going to die, and witnessed somebody die right, like underneath her, right beside her, right underneath her. It is disheartening, and I don't know what to think, because obviously this isn't the first time someone has, or a number of people have died at a concert. So I don't know what the correct response is. I don't know. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. Obviously, it's a terrible tragedy. And concerts aren't a place for these things. Like, no one goes to a concert thinking, I got to be careful, I need to be safe. People go to a concert, I'm going to have a ton of fun. Yeah. I'm going to dance, I'm going to sing, I'm going to be jumping up and down. That's the experience people are expecting to have at a concert, not the thought of I'm going to be in a commotion or a crowd that is going to be pushing.
Well, apparently
everybody
there were
to
a lot
the
of
stage.
people that got in for like went through the gates or whatever, like they didn't pay.
Yeah.
So it was, I assume it was way over capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, WKRP, as much as it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. They also tackled difficult subjects.
Mm-hmm.
They tackled like payola with cocaine. They tackled some very interesting subjects that were tough. And the one that was really tough that I recommend people watch, if you haven't seen it, is the episode from the Who concert in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just it's a for a sitcom, it's a very powerful episode, because it shows you talk about responsibility, and you're going to hear my dog that I'm fostering in the background here. I'm sure
my dog. You said my dog.
The dog I'm fostering.
Yeah.
Anyway, the WKRP episode is really great because it's just about the radio station, and I think the premise was that they had promoted the the premise was they promoted the show, whether they were putting on the show or not or whatever.
Sure,
but they promoted the show, and it was just how devastated everybody was afterwards, thinking that they were a part of this.
Yeah, for those who don't know, this was in 1979, December of 1979. Who concert in Cincinnati, 11 deaths, 26 injuries on top.
Yeah.
Hi, the following podcast is brought to you by Radical Road Brewery, the best craft beer in the heart of Leslieville. Find them at 1177 Queen Street East. That's Radical Road Brewery.
I'm Carson. I play drums in Daysormay.
I'm Aidan. I sing and play guitar and a couple other things.
I'm Nolan. I'm the bass player.
And we're called Désormais. And you're listening to Welcome to the Music Podcast.
Can you hear me? Hold on,
I can hear it, but it's very quiet.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go DAW?
Yeah, you have to go DAW.
Oh.
There we go. Sorry about that. Got you now.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Got you now, yeah.
Ah!
Success.
If only one or more of you knew how to do engineering and put, audio together, and I don't know.
Yeah, one day, maybe one day. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on, guys.
Oh no, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Aidan, how old are you that you're drinking tea?
Old enough.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
It's throat coat, so it's a work thing.
It's a work thing. Fair enough. Fair enough. Awesome. In Vancouver, in Vernon, Okanagan, I've read all three places. Where exactly are you guys now?
We're in Vancouver now. We live in Vancouver as of
2 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're from Vernon, grew up there, spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
But just, end of 2019, moved out here and all moved in together.
Nice. Perfect timing.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everyone's read, or whoever's heard about the band have read about the translation of the name, désormais, which means from now on in French. Where did that come from? Did you guys do French in school? How did that come about?
Yeah, we these guys did French immersion all the way through elementary and high school, and I did late. I joined later, so about grade 6, I went into full French immersion. So it was always a part of, I guess, just a part of our lives. It was always in the back of our minds, kind of, and I think Nolan's phone was in French at the time, and then his laptop subsequently was also in French. So when you get a notification, someone starts following.
I don't
you.
think my stuff was in French yet, but it does say that anytime someone follows.
Yeah, whenever someone follows you, it says Désormais. It's this person. It's somewhere in the notification. It says Désormais. So that was kind of always that popped up, and we're Nolan was this could be a cool band name. And then just the meaning of it. Technically means henceforth, but that sounds a little pretentious. So we say from now on. So it's just kind of always been around in our lives, the French aspect of things.
So how did you guys connect and hook up to start the band?
Yeah. So Nolan and I are twin brothers. So we've, born together, lived together our whole lives.
Born together.
Kind of good start.
So that's how we met. And then Aidan, we met through cross country skiing, actually. Our parents were friends. And then we just kind of started like skiing together, and then which led into like, family trips and like like hanging out with each other. And then we kind of all just on our own, just like, we're like, oh, like Aidan was like, oh, got a guitar for like Christmas, was like, started playing it. And then later on, like we got our instruments for Christmas. And then it was like, oh, like we should start a band. It just like makes sense, like guitar, bass, and drums. And it just went from there.
Cool. So Carson, you said cross-country skiing. I read somewhere that, I don't know if it's all three of you are like, have been serious athletes.
Yeah. So,
well, excluding me.
The three of
I'm
us,
the other one out.
The three of us all skied. Still all ski. But Aidan and I were like into like racing and like, trying to get on like the provincial team and that kind of thing. Which was like a really good like focus to have as well as music. And I think it translated into music.
Yeah.
But we've kind of like since we're not really like racing anymore or anything, but yeah, that like for our high school, a better part of high school, we were like really competitive skiers. Yeah.
And this was in cross country or downhill?
Cross country.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Cool. And Nolan, you've removed yourself from the serious athlete competition.
He was in it. I'm more of a casual skier.
Yeah.
I did the racing thing. I always came last. I'm not very competitive. I was like, well, okay, like, yeah, I have to go like try really hard. And like, I'm like breathing really hard. I'm like, I'll just go a bit slower. Then I'll come last and be like, it's okay. So I just stopped really. And then like, wasn't my thing. I like skiing, but yeah, not racing so much.
I hear you. That's Nolan. That sounds like my story. I did cross country skiing in high school as well.
Nice.
Cool.
And we got to OFSAs, which is like the Ontario High School Championships. But we only got there because the team was good. But I was like, I was the last person to finish. There were people behind me, but they didn't finish. So I was the last.
Got you.
So it was like, I bragged for maybe a year that I'm like the 200th top. I'm in the top 200 skiers.
Nice.
In the whole province. Yeah. But after that, it was like, yeah, I sucked really bad.
It's tough, man. It's a tough sport.
So hard.
Yeah.
It looks easy, but it's hard.
There's so many, it's so technical, and like, there's so many elements you have to just kind of, you're supposed to know how to do. And like, you know how to wax the skis and like,
oh my God.
The part for me was like the mind game though. It's like the whole mind game of like, you feel like you're going to pass out at any moment, but you have to keep going. Because like those are the people who win, who like just can push through that.
Oh my goodness.
It's like running a marathon. Not that I have any idea what it's like to run a marathon, but from the friends of mine that have run a marathon, it's like that same sort of mental, there are points where you just got to keep going and get over it. It's the people that can do that excel at it. And I got to be honest with you, I had no idea about him. Like we've known each other for a very long time, not since high school. But I had no idea he skied offside. I'm going to have to keep this in my back pocket so I can bring it back out.
Oh, that'll be good.
Are you impressed? Are you impressed, Gregg? Or?
Yeah, I am.
There you go.
There you go.
I skied offsas. What the heck did you do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
curling. No, curling.
You know, curling.
That's tough too.
That's technical.
Yeah, it was. I haven't kept anything from my skiing days, but that
200th badge.
200th, yeah. That was before cell phones. We couldn't get that taken care of. But Carson, like there's other skills that you have, and like you make a mean coffee. I've been told
they both do.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. This is something I'm actually good at too.
This is okay.
Yes, we are both good at making coffee. I'm retiring from making coffee.
You're retired,
which is like awesome because
I
love coffee, but I'm kind of over making it. But
okay,
yeah, we both, make great coffee. I think.
Hey, Nolan, are you? So were you both at the coffee shop working together, or
different shops, rival shops
in
Vernon?
Who made the best flat white?
It's tough to say. I feel like Nolan's
that's mine.
I associate Nolan with flat whites, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like your coffee shop. I associate more.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Yeah.
So was there a rivalry? Because Nolan, I didn't find any write-ups on you online about.
Oh, you found it online. Okay.
But Carson, like there's like pages of of you making coffee, and there's like photos, professional photos.
Yep.
I think he has more media coverage at his coffee shop.
Yeah, my coffee shop's pretty present online.
It's pretty hype. Yeah. Mine's more low key.
Mine kind of got inserted in that.
Yeah.
And Aidan's a tea drinker.
Yes, and no other skills.
No other skills. All right. And enough of those skills. Listen, congrats on the album.
Thank you.
That just dropped. You've probably been asked this question, because Gregg and I asked this question a lot from up and coming artists. Why an album? That seems counterintuitive to what, as Gregg would say, what the kids are doing these days, which is just like releasing singles, every few weeks. Like, why the focus on an album this time?
Well, it was going to be an EP initially, but then the pandemic happened, and we're like, okay, now what do we do?
Yeah,
we got to like adjust our strategy, and then we like had almost put out like all of the songs we recorded. Like, I think we put out 5 of the 6 that we had recorded. So we're like, okay, we need to like make some more songs. And then our label was like, you guys, how do you feel about an album? And we were like, good. We feel good about an album. So like, we just like ended up putting that together like over the last, like, I don't know,
couple months, 4 or 5,
6 months. Maybe? I don't know. I have no idea.
It was a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've personally always liked albums. I feel like that's a really cool way to move through, your career, and like when artists have different kind of eras and like visual things with each album, and it's like clearly defined. That's always just felt more like the right thing to do than to kind of just go single by single. And we did the single thing and for a bit, and I don't know, it felt like the right thing to do, just to kind of wrap it all up in the big kind of final album summary of the whole thing. So and like Nolan said, we needed to write more songs and stuff. I wasn't going to put out an album with just one new song. So yeah,
that's cool. And so I hear, and I don't even want to say I hear influences. I don't know who the influences are. I want to get to there, but can you talk a bit about your sound? Because it's a unique, neat sound.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the principle that we always go by is just, do we like it? Does it feel good? Yes, cool. Don't think about it any more than that, really. I think like when we were like, it was like, like 3.5, 4 years of trying to like get a lot of these songs to be where they're at. And it was agony, because back then we were so like, oh, does this sound too much like this? Is it like too pop leaning? Is it too, I don't know, like all those comparisons are like agonizing to kind of have to deal with all the time and stuff. So we just decided to eventually just be like, screw it. Like, does it feel good? Yes or no? And if yes, then let's just go with it. So I think like that's kind of been the way we discern like production and just going off feeling, I think, is more important than going off of like, I don't know, trying to fit it into like what is cool at the time or what is relevant and stuff. So, and then even since the album's come out, like, I think the stuff we're making now has definitely shifted and, in terms of sound. So it's always, it's exciting because it always keeps it fresh.
That's cool.
Gregg,
cool.
What do you think their influences are?
No, I don't want to say. I was going to ask that next. I was like, who are your influences? And I do, like, you could hear the sound changing, particularly for this album, from some of the other stuff, previous stuff. Like, who do you guys consider to be some of your influences?
I mean, it's tough. It's a tough question because I think there's so much stuff probably from, being a kid that is still influencing me now, that I'm maybe not as aware of, because it's like, I mean, there's some albums when I was like 13, 14 that I would listen to like religiously. And I'm sure now it's just like burned into my brain and like how I move and write songs and stuff. So it's hard to really pin it down to like a couple, but I don't know. Do you guys?
It's why I think it just is like a wide range of a lot of things, like from like Rush to like Kendrick Lamar, like Rage Against the Machine, Phoenix. Like
Yep.
it's all over the place, really. I think.
Cool. And I wasn't necessarily meaning the influence the sound of this album. I just meant, who influenced you guys in general.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, from like an artist standpoint and like being a public figure that kind of seems to always do what they want and is like very creative, publicly creative and doesn't, care what people think and stuff. I mean, it was and still is like Tyler, the Creator. Kanye was one, still can be one sometimes. And like, people that I've always just been drawn to people that are just very like intense about what they do and they don't care what you think about it. And they're just doing it because they have to do it. It seems like they have to do it. And, I've always felt, like I saw a bit of myself in that and identified with that. So yeah, I hope that's a good answer. I always stumble on that anscer.
No, fair enough.
Gregg, did you hear Rush in their music?
If I was to say, did I hear Rush in it? Some of the changes that went from here to there to there to there in some of the songs. What's the one song I was listening to? Was it Ego? I think, where it was a whole bunch of beats that you mixed together. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
So it was interesting to hear that. So I guess if you're asking me in terms of Rush, I mean, that's what Rush would do. Rush would go from, this to that, to that, to that, all within the space of 30 seconds or a minute. So yeah. Anyway.
True.
These guys were obsessed. Cool, yeah.
That's the reason why I played music.
Oh yeah.
Like as a kid. Yeah. Just like, especially as a bass player, like very, very early influence. Yeah.
We just had a charity auction. I'm in the wine space, in the spirit space. And we had a charity auction and we had both a bass and a guitar signed by both Geddy and Alex.
Nice.
That's amazing.
And they went like, I think, I don't know, like $30,000 and $60,000 or something. For them. It was like, again, it's for charity. So awesome, right?
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do Rush, do they have a wine? Gregg?
Geddy's a big Burgundy drinker. Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Interesting. Really, really interesting. Yeah. So tell us about some of the songs. Gregg, I don't know if you have a favorite song from the album, but I think Just Existing and Role Model, I think.
Cool. Thank you.
Are my two favorites. I'm wondering if you can talk a bit about those two songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just Existing, I mean, I think was, 2018 or something?
It's 2018.
2018. And Role Model was started like 2016, late 2016. So they're both ideas that have been around for like a pretty long time. And, we've toured like so many like crappy versions of them and, different arrangements and structures and stuff. And I think Nolan you like started off Just Existing. It was like very bass and drum.
Yeah, I just wanted to write like a fast song.
Just a fast,
a
banger. And then Role Model was just like pieced together, just like, man, like so long. Just it was in a different key for like a couple of years, and then we had the chorus for like the whole time, and then everything else was just like writing new verses, hating the new verses, writing more verses, trying to figure out an intro, like, and then we almost didn't even like when it came to when we first kind of had our first interaction with Steve Bays, who produced it, we almost didn't even send him Role Model in the pile of demos because we were like, this is not that good. And our manager was like, no, just send it, see how it goes. And he was like, we need to do that one. I don't care about any of the other demos. We just need to do that one. So yeah, it worked out. And Just Existing was kind of a similar thing. It just kind of happened to, we put it away for a while because we didn't really like it. And then sometime this year or end of last year,
we just opened it up again. We were like, actually, this is sick.
Yeah.
And we really had a feeling that Steve would kill. Like it'd be right up in his alley. So just kind of like another one that just like fell into place, basically.
Yeah.
I like what you've done with your website. Because like Just Existing, like you can listen to all the demos and where it started and where it ended up. And all the songs, I think, from this album, you've done that on the website. Where did that idea come from?
It's a good question.
I was like, how like Carson was working on like the code part of the website, and I was like thinking about like what, I don't know, just what stuff like fans might want to hear.
Yeah.
So I thought like it started with me just finding like the first version we ever did a role model, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I like just collected all of the versions of our song, like of the songs, and just put them in order, sort of like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like thought it'd be a cool thing to do.
Cool.
It's
And
cool.
even the collage, right? The collaging of the pictures and the backstory and some of the lyrics, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'd love to hear, because it's weird. Like I've purchased like a bunch of like U2 stuff, and some of their songs, whether they're B-sides or whether it is like one of their hits that just had a different. It was just different, it was like an early edition or an earlier version, and it sounds different, but you get that appreciation for the song, I think, a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think like for me personally, I think like seeing the process makes me appreciate the final result a lot more. And you kind of feel like the artist a little bit better, and it's more intimate. So I've always really liked when people do that.
Yeah. You guys have recently toured, is that right? Or at least done some live shows?
We did a show last month.
Okay.
Just like a one-off. Last time we toured was like 2019, unfortunately. So it was like a while. It was a long time coming. And
how was this live show that you guys did?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was on the island, on Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
And it was pretty sweet. They do like a full like video, like multi-camera with like live audio recording, and they're gonna like mix it and edit it later. So it's gonna be like a really cool piece of content that we're gonna be able to share with everybody, and that kind of thing. And it just felt nice to be in a venue again, like just playing loud music. Yeah,
for sure. Was it just the songs from this album, or was it a wide range of some of your older stuff as well?
It was.
I think we played almost everything.
Almost
except
everything.
a few
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah. It was like an hour or 10 or something. Yeah.
That's amazing.
right.
So what version comes out? Because obviously there's a lot of production on these songs, and there's only 3 of you. So is it, do you do the rush treatment where only 3 musicians on stage and you'll figure it out, or and what kind of treatment do you give your songs
For the show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we run tracks a lot of the time live. So
Okay.
it's very like, I don't know what that word is. I guess it's kind of like a hybrid kind of thing between like live instruments and samples and stuff. So yeah, I mean, we try to pull it off as close as we can to the, recorded version, and then embellish it here and there with like live-isms, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Improvised stuff and
Extending sections. maybe,
extending
or-
sections. Yeah. Trying to make it feel as non-robotic as possible, even though it is,
Like all mapped out.
yeah, all mapped out. So that's been an interesting thing to try and explore. And yeah, playing the show was like, eye-opening that it's really been a long time since we've done it. So it was like, yeah, to get back into that rhythm and try and, win people over again was definitely something that I need to get used to doing again. But it was fun.
How was the crowd? Like, how was the audience? Like,
It was cool. It was, it had to be seated, unfortunately, for COVID stuff. So there was a bit of like, do these people like hate us, or are they just like, not allowed to move? So yeah, I mean, but the energy seemed cool. Once I could, see their faces and stuff, it was good.
that's cool.
Were you given instructions? Don't tell the crowd to dance. Like they have to stay seated. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like thinking. I was like thinking like maybe we should try to get them up, but it was hard enough.
Yeah.
Hard enough.
Well, I tried.
Oh yeah, you tried. And they were
And then
shaking
the
their head.
usher is like, I could see the usher in the corner, like,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Tag Music is your label, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
I guess worldwide. How, like, I'm really curious, especially for a young band, about signing with a label. Information is widely available, so I'm sure you guys have read stuff on independent artists going to a label and maybe becoming independent again. How did you choose this label? What do you enjoy about working with them?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I mean, I think like we're still independent in Canada, actually. We left that out of our deal, but yeah, they have the rest of the world. But I think what drew us to them is like, we really liked the head of the label, Gabe. We really like his energy. He's like really just stoked about music and like getting up and coming talent like in front of more people.
Yeah.
So, and like they're like, we really liked also that like they were kind of willing to take a risk on us, because like what we found in the past from like other labels we've talked to is they really don't want to have much to do with you unless you're like guaranteed to make the money. So he was like willing to like just take a bit of risk, and like he really believes in us. So I think that's what drew us to them initially.
Yeah. It still kind of feels, no disrespect to them, but it does still feel like very independent, because we're kind of allowed to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of there to, like, they support and social media stuff and like advertising and marketing stuff, and but it's cool because at the end of the day it's like our call on stuff, which is what we wanted. So it's more just like when we first kind of met them, they were talking about it as it's kind of like a middleman kind of thing. It's less of like, oh, you're signed to this big like label thing. It's more like artist or label services kind of thing. And they're awesome. It's like a very, it's like a kind of small team. Everybody's very tight knit and very supportive, and great people.
Did you connect with them before COVID? Like, was there like a show that you connected, or how to?
Yeah. So
I don't remember exactly.
So Tessa, like for role model, like Tessa Violet, who's the feature, and she was also the last tour we did. She's signed to them for management and for like label stuff as well. So it was like kind of through her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometime 2019
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the stuff. Are you guys still active on Twitch as a band?
We haven't been, but we were
talking about it the other night.
Yeah,
because we really love to be on Twitch.
Trying to get back on there.
I saw one of your sessions that you did on Twitch, and it was you basically came up with a song.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did that for all the sessions, but I thought that was really cool. Is there anything on the album that came out of one of those sessions, or is there stuff that you guys are workshopping from that?
There's a couple.
There's one. I think
There's
like,
one that's probably
most of the songs that we made just ended up being kind of like joke songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like we made one that was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like we've been messing around with it. Like in the last week probably. Yeah.
Like early kind of lockdown quarantine, we started doing it on Instagram, like because the time limit for our lives was like an hour at that time on the account. So we're like, let's just make a song in an hour and like watch us do this. And like the first couple actually worked out pretty well, and then we started needing more time and stuff. So we started doing it on Twitch. We don't do it every stream, but because it's pretty taxing actually to do it in front of people and stuff. But there's a couple ideas that have worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's extra fun because like we got people watching to send in like voice memos or like samples and be like some of the vocals are just like people like singing into their phone, and then we just like slotted it in, or like someone actually recorded a saxophone solo for one of them.
Wow.
Which is like crazy.
Yeah.
So it became like kind of a, not just people watching us make the music, but it became like we were making it together.
Collaborative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is really neat. Where did the idea even come from to do we're going to go on Twitch, or we're going to go on Instagram, or we're going to make music? Where did that idea come from?
I think it came from like
boredom.
Well, a bit boredom. We were getting pretty bored.
Yeah.
But there's also like a lot of like beat makers and like There's on TikTok. Like there's quite a big
Twitch, you mean?
That's what I'm. Okay, I meant to say Twitch. Another T. Like
it's all the
Kenny
same.
B.
Greg knows none of this stuff, by the way. We say
Okay.
he just got on Instagram like last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, props.
His grandkids had to teach him. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, all good. Yeah, like people like Kenny Beats or like Timbaland, Knowledge, like they have streams where they make music for hours, or they like have beat battles with their fans, or just like put out tips or like information, free sample packs. So and we were kind of like seeing it and just being like, wow, like they're creating this really cool community of just like more and more artists. And like we're just kind of like, oh, we can do that too. So it's been cool.
Well, if you guys go back to it, let us know. I think it's entertaining for sure, and it's really really fun to watch. Absolutely.
Awesome. Hopefully this week, next week, maybe.
All right. Well, I'm like, I'll be waiting by my computer.
Okay.
Greg will have to download TikTok and Twitch for you. We'll have to get tech support. Yeah. No worries. Thanks. No worries. This is what I do as an former OFSA competitor.
Yes.
This is what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
What I bring to the table. Yeah. We have a segment, guys, called what's the segment called, Greg? Lost Venues. Thank you. Segment called Lost Venues, where we talk about a venue that you guys have enjoyed playing at or you hated playing at. There's a story maybe that comes out of that, but the venue doesn't exist anymore. Curious if you have one of those.
Yeah, definitely. Where we're from in Vernon, the music scene is a very
tiny
and fickle. So sometimes it'll be there, and then sometimes there'll be nothing. So when we started playing shows and stuff like 2013, 2014, it was there, and it was like, it was killing it. It was very cool, like environment to be in. And so there was this venue called The Hub, down on like the main downtown street. And it was like probably like 100 capacity. And we played, I think, like our first kind of like legit headlining show there. And there was like 15, 20 people there. It was pretty bad. And then, and then like a year later, year and a half or something, we actually sold it out, which was super cool. 100 people, but we sold it out. We got to say we sold it out. And
our first sold out show.
First sold out show. Yeah. And then, a lot of those artists just kind of moved, or they got jobs somewhere else, or like decided they didn't want to do music anymore. So then like so much of that stuff just kind of like petered off. And then now the venue is a Castanet office or something.
Yeah, it's just like local news now.
Yeah.
Like
so it was website. Iconic, man. There were so many good shows there, and like it was like the only venue you could like find a show that people could crowd surf at and like mosh and stuff. It was like that kind of a vibe. It was awesome.
The DIY venue.
Yeah. And now they talk about what's happening around the Okanagan. Like they have a little news thing. Yeah. So it's a little depressing when I see it, but I miss that place.
How long was that around for?
I have no clue.
Maybe like 4 years, I think.
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. So just a short period of time.
Yeah.
Nice. I want to get to some other stuff, but I totally forgot to ask this question. The move from Vernon to Vancouver. I read that Montreal. You guys are thinking about Montreal. You guys are thinking about the States. Thinking about Europe. I'm not upset, but there was no talk about Toronto at all. Maybe the author left that out.
Possibly.
Was Vancouver far enough, but also close enough to home that if you missed mom or dad's cooking or whatever, you could quickly head back? Why'd you land on Vancouver?
Partly that, I think, but also I think like over the years we've developed quite a good relationship with like either bands in Vancouver or like Music BC, Steve Bays, like just like we ended up knowing quite a lot of people. So it seemed like especially to move like to the States or like somewhere where we don't have any connections. It seemed like maybe it would be a little bit more like starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely part of it.
I think like Toronto actually was an option. Just so
Okay.
you know, I really like Toronto.
Yeah. We all love Toronto. Yeah.
And then Montreal too, and stuff. I think we didn't think about this being like, we probably didn't even think we'd be here this long.
Okay.
Like in Vancouver, I think, and then everything locked down and all that stuff. So then we were like, okay, well, I guess we're here for now and stuff. So we always just kind of thought it was more important. It was kind of important where you were based, but it was more that we were all living together and we'd be able to just work on stuff. So that was the focus. And yeah, I think we're not tied down to, or, married to any specific spot. So we'll go where we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, like moving here was kind of ideal, because I think if we would have moved to the US or something, we during COVID might have had to move home.
Yeah.
So I think like that kind of thing is just, it's been like kind of a blessing in that way.
Yeah, no doubt. We've talked to a number of younger artists who made moves. I think Justine moved from like Sudbury. Was it Sudbury to Calgary?
Calgary, yeah.
To Calgary, and others that moved like from so far away to say Montreal. And and we've talked about the challenges of making that move right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You want to write, you want to record. You can't get into the studio.
Yeah.
So maybe in hindsight for you guys, it was the right decision considering what was coming down.
Exactly.
Yeah. It worked out for
It
sure.
feels like it was. Yeah.
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 And you guys aren't sick of each other. You live together, you play together, you work together. Everything's good so far?
Yeah.
Everything's good.
I think we know how to handle each other.
Navigate the,
Yeah. I mean, you guys
have lived together for your whole life. So.
yeah.
I can talk to Nolan without even saying words.
Are you guys still sharing a room, brothers, or are you have your own rooms now?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the next thing. We're like, we need to get to a place where we can each have our own room. But
That's
for now,
awesome.
it's still like that. Yeah.
Wonderful. I understand you have a song prepared for us.
Yes.
Tell us what the song is and what's it about.
Song is an acoustic version of 25. 25 is a not a very a positive song, but it is something I was dealing with back when I kind of started writing it, and about measuring success and measuring the timeline of my own life and career, and struggling with comparing it to people that I looked up to and stuff. And 25 was always this deadline that I had to be successful by. And it was tough to deal with. And thankfully I don't really feel the same anymore. So, but it's, I kind of put it in the song and, let it be there and be contained within that. So,
yeah. How do you, before we get to the song, how do you guys now measure success? And is there that sort of end line or timeline that you've given yourself, or is it just, let's just enjoy making music?
Definitely let's just enjoy, but I think there's still some sort of like deadline. I mean, regardless of where this goes or what happens, kind of have to be making stuff and be creative. So I'll be doing it regardless. I think the kind of only major goal we have is just to be able to do this for a living and not have to spend time on other things that, aren't being creative and stuff.
So making flat whites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait until I get to make my last flat white.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here they are, Aidan, Nolan, and Carson from Daysormay with 25.
Just saying. I didn't have to say anything, but you knew exactly what I meant.
They say it's funny how you won't regret it. You never think about it when you're ending. And I don't find that funny or romantic, but if they think it's funny, I could get it. Yeah, I could get behind that, cause why not? Everybody knows that the worst times are behind us, they're not. But who doesn't love a lie? Cause it's easier to be comfortable than to feel like you gotta try. So in that case, I'm sure you'll sleep fine. But it feels like If I don't succeed by 25, somebody's gonna come and end my life. Yeah, I know it hurts, and I'd wear my heart on my sleeve, but I don't wanna get blood on this shirt. We're sorry that it's gotta be everything you feared, even worse. Don't make a fuss now, everybody's gotta push through the mud, just not any of us. It just feels like if I don't succeed by 25, somebody's gonna come and end my life.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It just feels like if I don't succeed by 25, somebody's gonna come in my life. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trapped unless I'm set by 25. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trapped unless I'm set by 25. If I knew back then what I know now, then nothing's promised, and that somehow pushing honest and being honest might just cause a bit of progress. I knew back then what I know now, then nothing's promised, and that somehow pushing honest and being honest might just cause a bit of progress. But it just feels like, yeah, I'm too comfortable, yeah, trapped unless I'm set by 25. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trapped unless I'm set by 25. It just feels like if I don't succeed by 25, somebody's gonna come in and my life, yeah. Just feels like if I don't succeed by 25, somebody's gonna come in my life.
Awesome. Great song, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So one of the questions that we like to ask our guests, particularly sort of begin to wrap it up, is what's in your earbuds lately? What are you listening to that people should be checking out?
I'm gonna pull up my Spotify.
I've had the new Dijon album on repeat. Like it's like pretty much all I've been listening to like the last few days. So that'll be my pick. Yeah.
Nice.
I was just listening to Amine's new album. It's called 2.5. Yeah, super dope. I'm only like halfway through, but I think that, yeah, Amine and then Donda.
Yeah. I've been listening to Yeba, the newest Yeba album. She's fantastic. This little like EP I've been listening to that I found actually on TikTok by this artist called Overpaid. Super cool. In like the realm is like, I don't know if you guys are aware of like Pink Panthers, kind of like drum and bass, kind of like breakbeat heavy, but just like super groovy. Super nice to listen to. And lastly, I listened to Dr. Dre, like the 2001.
Oh, nice.
For the first time, start to finish. I'd heard the hits and everything, but as an album, I was like, damn, this is the level we need to be at. It's like actually like
So
blew my mind.
Karim, once we're done this, I'll send you over some links to show you who Dr. Dre is. Okay.
So whatever.
How do you get one in? You've been nailing me a few times. like, come on, give me something.
I want to ask this. You mentioned Spotify. Is that where you guys go to discover music? Like, where do you discover music? Where do you discover new music from?
Mostly, I think. I just see it. I just kind of see it like it probably TikTok the most, I think. But I kind of just see it on someone's like story on Instagram or something, or a tweet.
People's Instagram stories are a big one for me.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, like anytime like an artist I like post something I don't know on their Instagram story, I like add it to my library right away.
Yeah.
Mm. Or just friends like texting me being like, you got to listen to this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've recently noticed, I don't know if I noticed it, but I just knew it, but places like you said, like Instagram stories and TikTok, like there's so much music on there, whether it is an artist putting their own music out or whether it is people's posts or videos, and they just add the music later. It's phenomenal. Would you guys be aware of sort of the business implications of that? Like, is there, you have your music streaming on places like Spotify and so on. What's the business ramifications of having people stream your music or add your music to posts and videos? Do you guys know?
I think just awareness. I think just like natural, like people just talking about music they like, I think is way more, people are way more likely to click on it than if we're just like pounding the pavement, being like, listen to our music that we think is sick.
Like a sponsored ad or
like
something.
A sponsored ad kind of vibe. But I think specifically with TikTok, I think, people like using other artists' music as like for some sort of trend or just like for a funny video or something, can put it in a new light, and it can just like, people can just be like, oh, you know what? Like that was a funny video, but the song's actually great.
Yeah.
And then in turn, go listen to it or get the album or whatever that looks like.
Yeah. I've been wondering, Gregg, whether there's like if that counts as a stream for an artist.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And if there's like,
because
I'm thinking,
if it's like within TikTok, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's more just that it's just like, it just drives people to go find it.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Well, think about the impact that it had on Mother, right?
Great example.
They relatively exploded during COVID because so many people used their tunes, which then drove people to go find them on Spotify and other channels.
For sure.
I think that's the cool thing about it, is that like you only hear like 10 to 15 seconds of the song. And so for me, it's always like, I just want to find out like what the context is for that part of the song, like what the rest of it sounds like. So yeah, I think it's a great driving force. I mean, so many people have started careers off of it.
Absolutely. Aidan, Nolan, Carson, this has been a great chat. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, for spending some time with us. People want to find out more about your music, check out your music, or even, potentially see you guys live somewhere. Where's the best place they can go?
We're at Daysormay on everything, social media. You can go désormais.com. We'll have tour dates, and we have some merch up there and stuff too. Other than that, that's it.
Instagram, we're active on everything.
Pick a platform.
We're there.
You're everywhere. Awesome.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Guys, if you ever find yourselves in Toronto, give us a shout. If you guys are doing a show.
You don't even have to move here. Just come in.
We'll definitely be there.
Awesome. All the best, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Cheers,
You
guys.
too.